kind of morning where the world feels safe, ordinary, and unshakable. But behind that picture-perfect calm, fate was already ticking like a time bomb. Two sisters, 10-year-old Emily Carter and her 8-year-old sister Sarah, grabbed their bikes and pedaled down Maple Street. Their destination? Wilson's Market, just 6 blocks away. A quick trip, candy, soda, maybe a pack of gum. But here's the part that still chills investigators to this day. They never came back. By sunset, their bikes would be found abandoned, their seats slick with morning dew as if frozen in time. By sunrise the next day, Silver Creek would wake up to a nightmare no one could ever forget. And you'll want to stay with me until the very end. Because what starts as a small-town tragedy twists into something far more disturbing, and the truth won't fully reveal itself until part 2. At 9:15 a.m., the girls passed a neighbor's porch, giggling as they pedaled in the sunlight. At 9:27, a clerk at Wilson's later confirmed he thought he saw 2 kids with bikes ride past the storefront but couldn't be certain. And then, silence. A gap. Hours that no one can account for. When 12:15 p.m. rolled around, their mother Linda glanced at the clock and frowned. By 1:30 p.m., she was standing on the porch, scanning the street. By 2 p.m., she was pacing the living room, heart pounding, whispering the same prayer every mother prays in her darkest hour. Please let them walk through the door. But 3:12 p.m. was the breaking point. Linda picked up the phone, her voice shaking, and dialed 911. My daughters left this morning. They haven't come back. Please, help me. By 7:45 p.m., Silver Creek transformed into a crime scene. Deputies searched every street. Volunteers combed through fields. At 9:30 p.m., helicopters cut the darkness, their spotlights flashing across the treetops. By 11 p.m., the entire town was wide awake, fear spreading from door to door. But at 6:45 a.m. the next morning, the search ended in the woods near Pine Ridge Park, less than a mile from the Carter home. A deputy stumbled onto something in the undergrowth. Not just evidence, not just a clue, but the nightmare every parent fears. There, side by side, lay Emily and Sarah Carter, their small bodies bound, their faces bruised, their lives stolen in a frenzy of violence. 23 stab wounds between them. This wasn't an accident. This wasn't random. It was a deliberate act of rage. The town of Silver Creek shattered. Parents pulled children indoors. Schools locked down. Rumors raced through the streets like wildfire. Who could do this? Who could unleash this kind of brutality on 2 innocent girls? Investigators zeroed in on someone close. Tom Carter, the girl's father. Recently divorced. A history of alcohol abuse, a reputation for violent outbursts. Neighbors recalled hearing arguments between Tom and his ex-wife in the weeks before the murders. For police, the dots connected too neatly. And when Tom was brought in for questioning, the nightmare deepened. For 20 hours straight, detectives pressed him. His story shifted under pressure. His eyes reddened from exhaustion. At 2:42 a.m., Tom broke. I did it, he whispered. I killed them. Silver Creek gasped. The headline the next day read, Father confesses in Carter's sister's murder. To the public, the case seemed closed. But behind closed doors, cracks in the story were already forming. Tom recanted within days, claiming the confession was coerced. He described threats, sleepless hours, detectives telling him if he confessed, he could finally rest. His lawyer shouted about injustice. Still, prosecutors charged him with double murder. Then came the twist. A forensic analyst examined the evidence from the girl's fingernails. Trapped beneath Emily's nails was skin and DNA, male DNA. And here's the catch. It didn't belong to Tom. It didn't belong to any family member. It belonged to someone else entirely. Someone the police hadn't even looked at. The case against Tom collapsed like a house of cards. He was released after nearly 2 years behind bars, his name forever stained, his life ruined. But while Tom tried to pick up the pieces, the real killer was still free. Fast forward to 2002, Dayton, Ohio, just 30 miles away. Michelle Green, 22, was found strangled in her apartment. She had been bound. Overkill wounds marked her body. The details were eerily similar to Emily and Sarah's murder. And once again, male DNA was recovered. The pattern was undeniable. By 2003, 2 more women were found dead across Ohio, their bodies showing the same signs. Bindings, frenzied violence, DNA pointing to a single unknown man. Detectives began to whisper the unthinkable. The Carter sisters were not the end. They were the beginning. Silver Creek had never faced a random act of tragedy. It had faced the opening chapter of a serial predator's story. The investigation turned toward Daniel Holt, a drifter with a violent record. Holt had lived in Silver Creek in 1999, just blocks from the Carter family home. Witnesses recalled a beige pickup truck near the woods on the day the sisters vanished, a truck Holt was known to drive. Police cornered him in 2004 on unrelated charges, and when his DNA was tested, the result was chilling. A perfect match to Emily's fingernails, a perfect match to Michelle Green, a perfect match to two other unsolved cases. The predator had a name, Daniel Holt. But here's where this story spirals into something even darker. When investigators confronted Holt with the evidence, he didn't deny it. He leaned back, smirked, and said, "Those are just the ones you found." Then he hinted at more. Victims in other towns, other states, names no one had ever connected, cases buried in cold files. And then he clammed up, refused to give details, refused to speak unless he got something in return. He told detectives he'd reveal everything only if they met his demand. What that demand was, and how far authorities went to entertain it, is where this story plunges into its most chilling depths. Because Silver Creek wasn't just dealing with a killer, it was staring into the eyes of a monster who had been hiding in plain sight. And what Holt revealed next will shake you. But that's for part 2. Don't just watch from the shadows, subscribe, and be the first to know when the next piece of the mystery drops.